Okay, my next round instructions are telling me to slip stitch in my next 2 chains. And what I'm doing is I'm getting to the center of my corner. So I'm only going 2 chains, not 3, because I want to be right in the center of this corner to start my next pattern. So my next pattern is going to be chain 5, and that's to create a new corner. And then I'm going to treble 6 together. So that's a new stitch for us. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's very wordy in the pattern, but it's really not that difficult. It just takes a little time to do. So what that means, I'm going to take all of these 6 stitches and turn them into 1 stitch. So I'm going to yarn over twice, like a regular treble crochet, and insert my hook into the first treble that I come to, pull up my loop, and then instead of finishing off the entire treble, I'm going to do the first 2 steps. I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, then I'm going to yarn over and pull through the second 2 loops. So normally I would yarn over and finish those last 2 off, but for a treble together, I leave it alone. So now I'm going to start on my next treble. I insert into the next stitch I come to, pull up the loop, and again pull through the first 2 loops, pull through the second 2, and I leave it alone. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. Next one, just pull through those first 2 loops twice. Now I have 4. Again, just through the first 2. Now I have 5. And you'll see I gotta kind of push it because with my hook it doesn't have a whole lot of room, so I just keep pushing it over to the side to be able to do my next yarn over. But I like this hook because it creates a stopper so they don't go too far from me. So now I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6 loops on my hook, and I'm at my very last treble. So this is where we're going to bring all of these together. And notice I'm trying to keep my loops all the same size as my shaft, and that helps when I do my very last stitch right here because it'll make it look a lot nicer than if I had really loopy stitches. So again, I'm going to go through the first 2. Now I have 7 loops on my hook. This is where I'm going to finish it off. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through all 7 loops. And to do that easily, I point my hook down at my stitches and it's going to pull through nice and easy all of those stitches. And I try to keep it tight so that I don't have a big gap or a big loop. So you can see that I just finished it off, and then my pattern says to chain 5. So I'm going to keep this chain really close and tight to keep all of those stitches put together. I don't want to make a really loose first chain because I would like that nice and scrunched together. Then I'm going to do normal chains for the last 4. And then it tells me to slip stitch in the second of my chain 3 corner, which means I want that middle stitch again. So I just want to slip stitch in there to kind of anchor everything down. I've got my 2 new corners, and then it's actually going to be more than 2. But now I've got my very first treble 6 together done. So now I'm going to repeat that around, and then we will move on and change colors for our next round. So again, I chain 5, and then I start my treble 6 together. And I'm at my very last stitch, which is that chain 4. So I just kind of stick my hook in the best place that I can find and work that last treble. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all my loops. Then I'm going to do one last chain 5, and then I'm going to anchor this last round by doing a slip stitch in that same spot where I started all of this work. And then once I do that, I'm going to fasten off so I can join my new color. So I'm putting this through all of the slip stitches that I have there because I have that regular stitch and a slip stitch. So pull that through, and then I'm going to fasten off. So how I fasten off is usually you would kind of pull this out and then pull your yarn through the center to get it nice and tight, but you can use your hook to do the same thing. Just yarn over, pull it through, and pull it nice and long so you can weave it in and pull it tight, and that's kind of the same thing. It's just a little bit easier to get that loose end through your loop. So just cut it and then grab your yarn and pull back out. And then you just tighten that down, then you have a end that you can weave in. So now we finish round 2. You can see that it's very three-dimensional now. It's very poofy right here, which is the effect that we want. So now let's move on to round 3. Alright, we're ready to begin round 3. So I'm just going to make a slip knot for my hook. And I have a little knot there. I'll just put that below my tail so it's not in my work. And the reason that I didn't join this color in when I joined my round is because, or over here actually, it's because I'm not starting right here. The pattern tells me that I'm going to start up here in that chain that I made to connect all of my trebles together. So it says right next to where we fastened off. So we're going to go that way like we normally would in our counterclockwise fashion and start at this treble 6 together. It doesn't really matter where you start, but that's just kind of the, when I'm writing the pattern, it makes the most sense than just saying, you know, put it wherever you want. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch, so I put it through that very tight chain that I made, and then yarn over, pull it through, and then pull through that loop I have on my hook. Oops. Sometimes you lose it. Just tighten that down to join your yarn up. Now we're ready to start our round 3, and our round 3 is kind of different because we're not going to be working into our round 2 at all. We're going to be working into our round 1 corners. So we're going to be working into these spaces here. So the first thing that we're going to do is treble 3 times into this chain 1 space. So I'm going to yarn over twice, insert my hook through the chain space, just like if I was working into a ring, and I want to do my yarn over right in the center of all of this stuff. I don't want to yarn over all the way over here. I want to go wherever it's as thin as possible. So I put it through wherever the thin spot is and bring that up and keep it nice and tight. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish off this treble crochet. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Stick right in that center spot where it's nice and thin. Oops. And do those 3 treble crochets. And this is a pattern. This is what we're going to do in every single corner that we come to. So I've got 3 treble crochets, then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to treble 3 times again in that same spot. As you can see in the pattern, it says all in the chain 3 space, which means I don't move anywhere until all of those stitches are complete. So you just kind of keep pushing all of your loops right to that center skinny spot. They're not all going to stay there, but you can kind of try to work them all in that spot to keep everything kind of nice and consistent. Oops, sorry. Okay, we finished that 3rd treble. Now we're going to chain 2. Usually when you get a different kind of chain, that means we have another corner or another spot where something's going to happen in a round that we're coming up on. Now I'm trebling 3 times again. Oops. Keep on splitting my yarn. If you split your yarn, just stop and start your stitch over. No big deal. As you can see, this corner is getting quite full, and it's just pushing itself over and bringing down those chain 5s that we did. So I did my 3, now I'm going to chain 1 and finish off this corner by doing another 3 treble crochets in that same spot. So we are filling this corner up with a lot of stitches. Then after we finish this chain 3, you can see we've got quite a few stitches and they're pretty wavy. Now we're going to go and slip stitch into the top of that chain that brought this whole treble 6 together. So pop our hook right through and slip stitch. So that is our next corner, or our next side. So we're going to have these corners here. We're going to do that in every single chain 3 space of our round 1. So once we finish this round, we're going to have kind of a cool looking effect. So again, we're going to start, we're not doing any kind of chains, we just go right into our trebles into that chain 3 space. So continue that pattern all the way around.